It is quite devastating to see those who ought to protect life and properties of Nigerians taking the lives of Nigerians, as the military was alleged to have opened fire on defenseless women protesters who were dissatisfied with the way the military was handling the communal clashes within Adamawa State. They came to express their grievances and dissatisfaction in a bid to promote peace and fairness in seeking for an end to these clashes that have lingered for quite a time and is becoming a threat to the communities and environment within the region. The military opened fire on them, and about 9 persons or 11 as of the last review has died. And the military came to deny that reality or possibility. Unfortunately, there are evidence that abounds to this. While all these things are happening, other Nigerians are busy going about their duties, going about their activities, engaging as if that nothing has happened. Where on earth would the military open fire on the citizens? For crying loud. These are women who came to protest. They are not armed to constitute any threats or breakdown of law and order. They are being shot with live ammunition by the military that should protect them and make sure that their safety is upheld, is guaranteed. My major concern is that things are happening and the Nigerians are not awakened to that consciousness that life is important, that every Nigerian life matters. When it has to do with the US or the Western world, you see Nigerians will be shouting, ranting on the social media, the Black Life Matters, the Black Life Matters. Whereas it is happening under their own watch in the African soil, in their own country of nationality, yet it doesn't matter how many people are being wasted and killed on a daily basis. But if it happens to one black American somewhere, you see them raising the eyebrow and the rest of them, opening their dirty linens in the public, whereas more distortion, impunity is happening underneath them. When will Nigerians begin to hold the government accountable and responsible for such actions? If lives have been taken, the government should be held responsible because the government is the one saddled with the responsibility of protecting life and properties and also to hold the perpetrators of this heinous crime to book, to bring them to book. So if the government is failing in that responsibility, the government should be held responsible for the killings of all these ones. Tinubu should be held responsible for the killing of these women who innocently came out to protest. They met their water laws. And up to now, there have been back and forth arguments, denial as usual, all these intimidations and the rest of them. This was enough to shut down the nation, to declare protests in demonstration that these people should be held responsible and the military should be held responsible and to provide the details of those that masterminded this act. But everybody sits back and it doesn't matter to them because it does not affect them. So what happens all the way north, Adamawa does not affect somebody in the next neighboring state and the rest of it. It continues to spread. It continued to spiral into other states. What right does the military have to open fire on innocent protesters in a democratic state? For Christ, this is not military. Military have not committed such level of pogrom, such level of criminality and genocide. People who came to say, no, we are not dissatisfied. The way you are handling this might possibly escalate the situation. There must be equity, fairness, both parties should be heard, and in a bid with intention to resolve the crisis so that peace, people could coexist as neighbors and, of course, brothers and sisters. I saw the video where they are holding just leaves, branch of leaves and the rest of them, singing their songs. They weren't disrupting the public peace or what? They are conveying their own grievances and dissatisfaction over what is going on. So those people has the power to shoot. Why have they not gone after the terrorists in the forest, laying ambush against the military, overrunning military base? Or where they find their strength and energy is to intimidate, is to open fire on defenseless women who are protesting. But when they are first head on with the terrorists, they will be lamenting and expressing frustration. This is not generally about the military. I know there are militaries, those who are responsible. For crying out, there is no justification by all considerations why a live ammunition should be used against protesters, just as what happened in NSAS, in Lagos Lekki Tollgate. Today, they are still denying the perpetrators of this heinous crime, the people that gave command for the innocent protesters to be shot with live ammunition at close range. Today, have not been brought to justice. Could it be a way of deterring others not to come up and protest and the rest of them? That is barbaric, that is unacceptable, that is not democratic, that is pure anarchy and state capture. You can't deny the people the rights to expression of the fundamental rights through protest. Sadly, you've seen Nigerians moving around everywhere. This cannot happen in a sane society, in a responsible society, in a society, in a clean, in a society where the human dignity and sanctity of human life is being upheld. It can't happen in such an environment where the life of innocent protesters were taken. And yet, the perpetrators of this heinous crime have not been brought to justice. The people you killed are Nigerians. They are mothers to sons and daughters. They are wives to husbands. They are mothers to children. You have left the family battered and bereaved, mourning their own loss for no justifiable reason. The soldier that shot them has their own wife. They have their own daughters. So what right do you have to shoot other person because you are under a command to kill and to destroy? The very dark man who went there at his own, of course, risk, unfortunately, just to get the spot on assessment of what's transpired, unfortunately, they may not be happy with him. There's a video where he expressed some level of dissatisfaction over what happened. I see people, he visited the hospitals of where the people who survived the shooting, of course, are receiving treatment and the rest of them, which is another evidence that could not be denied. Come on, when has Nigeria become more or less a jungle where people can take the life of citizens without any justifiable reasons? The masses are still talking about the escalation of insecurity and the rest of them, and they are not just they are dissatisfied with the level of commitment on the part of the government to address this. If the government of Nigeria could be proactive and swift enough to have taken actions, even without the due process of consulting the National Assembly, they sent military jets to intervene to bombard other territories beyond the shores of Nigeria to another republic, another sovereign state. The terrorists ravaging, killing their own citizens. They could not contend with. Rather, they resort to bribery and peace deal and the rest of them, settlements and the rest of them. People who have been kidnapping, and I saw the First Lady, Remi Tinubu, justifying that his husband is doing everything he can to quell this tide of insecurity and the rest of it. How? You are paying ransom to release children that were under the captivity of the terrorists for weeks. And majority of them have not been released. Out of the 200 plus that was kidnapped, about 100 was released, and you are celebrating it. It is quite disturbing. Securing the release of those girls is now an achievement, which you should have avoided in the first instance. There is no reason why such would have been allowed in the first instance. If there is no failure of the government to protect lives, such shouldn't have been allowed to happen in the first place. And here you see somebody celebrating and praising the president for releasing these girls while negotiating for others. Have the perpetrators of this heinous crime been brought to justice? That is when you can convince Nigerians that you are fighting terrorism. And you're not aiding the spread of insecurity. Lobbying and paying ransom to release these children while you have not brought the perpetrators of this heinous crime to justice in accordance to the law. You have done nothing. In fact, it's a sign of weakness and failure, collapse of this system of national security, for you to be negotiating with the terrorists. They have their base, you know their base, you know their in and out and the rest of them. You are negotiating to pay humongous of undisclosed amounts, and you are celebrating you are winning. You are doing well. Chai! Hey! My goodness. Chineke. Hey! Really? Really? Chai. Ogula. Ogula. Let me have your own take regarding this subject matter.